Hi everybody, this is Noelle for Petitti Garden Centers, and we're here at our Oakwood Village store, and we are doing a what's in store for June. And June is National Pollinator Month. It is National Perennial Gardening Month, and it is actually National Gardening Week right now, the first week of June. So yay, we've got a ton of plants to show you today. And we are here in Stella's runway and perennials, and it always looks so gorgeous. Please come out and visit Stella. And I wanted to show you what's in bloom right now. And I love this combo. It's so simple, and it actually reflects what Taylor's wearing today. But we have this white Asiatic lily that does have a little bit of fragrance to it. It's a very, very faint fragrance, but really nice. It's called Summer Snow. Beautiful. And then look at this dark navy blue Veronica. It's a Veronique dark blue. And oh my gosh, the combination together is stunning out there. Will you get pollinators to come to this as well? Absolutely. Again, fragrance, pollen, multiple tubular flowers on the Veronica. You will definitely see some pollinators around that combo. Same thing with this combo, and this is really fun. This is more of, it has a very meadow feel to it, but oh my gosh, if you enjoy cut flowers, this is a really good combination for you. This blue combo, blue flower, perennial flower, is actually called Cupid's Dart, and it is a great sort of heirloom perennial. It produces seeds as well, so you can collect the seeds and sow it year after year if you want to grow more. But it is a really fun perennial. Tall, obviously stems, really great cut flower, everlasting too. It'll dry very nicely as well. The seed pods are really, really fun dried too, so try it. Again, these combos are going to be for full sun right now. I'll tell you when we move into the shade. And it's paired with yarrow. And this is one of the best yarrows out there. This is Moonshine, and Moonshine has that silvery, aromatic foliage. The flowers stay blooming for such a long time. Gosh, 2-3 months, and then they just kind of fade and dry in color. So they're still on the plant, still doing their thing. I would recommend to continue to cut your yarrow so it produces more for you. Then you can harvest, of course, enjoy them as a cut flower, dried flower. Both of these have good deer resistance to them. So do try this combo. I think this is really lovely. And then right behind me here, I have a cute little doubled Asiatic lily. So this one is called, Tiny Double Dutch. There it is. It came beautiful peachy coloration there. Not a lot of pollen. So again, if you're trying to attract pollinators, not necessarily the variety that I would go for, but if you're going for the color and the cut flower, absolutely gorgeous. Very compact, beautiful variety. Look at, it's coupled with one of our favorite catmints. This is Persian blue catmint, and we absolutely love it, or nepeta, however you like. Again, this is going to be very aromatic, very attractive to the pollinators. Bees love it. So do keep that in mind out there in the garden. Really, really good combo together. So over here on this side, we're still in the sunny parts of the perennial section, but I wanted to show you that the Delphinium is starting to come into bloom. We normally see Delphinium start to bloom out in the garden end of June, beginning July. We, of course, are a little bit earlier as these plants have grown under hoop houses or plastic, so it can get a little bit warmer. Will definitely start to develop their bloom stalks much, much sooner than in the garden. But look at, so this is Delphinium delgenius, or genius, I should say, and it is really starting to open up. It has a nice deep purple color with the white eye, or white bee is what they call it sometimes. And so with Delphinium in the garden, excellent garden grower, very, very kind of classic cottage perennial plant. They do need some support out there in the garden, so just be aware It's nice to kind of grow them up against a wall or a taller shrub so they get some protection from wind moving around them, kind of cuts that maybe as a windbreak, so they don't get rocked around in the soil. But if you can keep them upright in a calm area, sunny area, they do really, really well. And at their feet is this lovely dark, very, very dark, almost black leafed coral bell called obsidian. So I've probably showed obsidian before. Very nice compact foliage, a little bit later bloomer, usually a white bell on it, not very tall, very, very beautiful in the landscape. And of course, a really nice contrast with the cut leaf delphinium foliage. And then of course, this beautiful bronzy purple to almost black with the scallop foliage. So good combo. We're by the Coropsis and it is really starting to look absolutely gorgeous. They're getting budded up and starting to bloom for us. When you look at Coropsis, there's lots of different colors and flower types, all really good pollinator plants, very good perennials, very hardy perennials for us for sunny conditions, and also very, very deer resistant, repeat bloomers. So lots of good qualities with the Coropsis. And in fact, Angela Petitti has said many times that you could just make an entire sun garden with Coropsis, have a lot of variety for you out there and for the pollinators too. This first one is actually what we call a threadleaf variety, and this is called Cruisin' Broad Street. It is a really deep, almost kind of rusty red to orange, really, really beautiful. Obviously, you can tell with the threadleaf varieties, very wispy foliage, can get fairly bushy, a little bit taller than some of the other varieties, probably around the 2-foot mark in the landscape. Really, really beautiful. This is a beautiful, what we call fluted or spoonbill variety. This is Jethro Tull. Very different in that it is not a threadleaf variety, has very kind of thick basal foliage to it, but look at those large yellow daisy-like flowers, gorgeous open centers with a lot of pollen and nectar for the pollinators. I have Sunfire, which is nice, sort of contrasted with that red eye around the ring. These are fairly compact, Jethro Tull and Sunfire, maybe about 12 inches to 15, 16 inches, not very tall in the landscape at all. And then this is one of the shorter varieties. Again, not necessarily for pollinators, if that's what you're growing them for, because look at Golden Sphere. It is a true doubled flower. It looks very similar to those pom-pom marigolds that you see out there. So not necessarily for pollinators, but for cut flower, for a very attractive long blooming perennial plant, this would be a good variety for you. For pollinator month, I did want to mention, as we were walking in the sunny perennials, we're starting to get buds on some of our milkweed here. So this is Asclepias incarnata. The variety is called Cinderella. Cinderella is a nice dark pink and just starting to bud up, so that's exciting. We do have some butterfly weed, Asclepias tuberosa. That's going to be your orangey yellow flower, a little bit more compact variety. We also have a white Asclepias called Ice Ballet. So things are just starting to bud up and look really nice out here for the pollinators. We are over by the Baptisia. This is also known as false indigo, but your standard variety is typically blue flowering. These varieties that I have here are all different colors, and they have names that make me a little bit hungry right now. So this is actually Blueberry Sundae right here with that dark blue flower. That is going to be most similar to your standard species of Baptisia around. This is Cherry's Jubilee, kind of has a darker, again, kind of a burnt red color, a little bit burgundy, and then also yellow. And then look at this beautiful yellow. I've seen these in the landscape. They're looking absolutely gorgeous. Lemon meringue here. And then I also have one that has a little bit of pink to it, a little bit lighter yellow color, more like a primrose yellow. This is Pink Lemonade. So these varieties are all from proven winners. Really, really lovely. And I will tell you, just looking phenomenal out in the garden. Your Baptisia are not short plants. They actually develop quite a nice bushy plant altogether, usually about the 3-foot mark, maybe a little bit taller at times, and about 3 foot wide when they do develop and get mature. But I'm going to tell you, the pea family is always really beneficial in the garden. The plants around it absolutely love it, because your peas are always going to pull nitrogen and put it into the soil around other plants. That makes everybody happy. Just fresh from the greenhouse, check out the Stillby is starting to come into flower. This beautiful one is called Elizabeth von Veen. Really, really gorgeous dark red stalks, but when it opens up, it is a brilliant violet purple. Really, really beautiful. Again, if you're looking for a plant, and they're in the sun right now, so they're getting a little dry, but these are for shade. So do put them in your shadier spots, part shade, all the way down to full shade, and moist soil, okay? And they'll be happy and absolutely love life down there. Wanted to show you this new salvia. This is a proven winner salvia. It's called Unplugged Red. It's just starting, folks, just starting. So we've got some beautiful, bright, fiery red salvia blooms here. Great for the hummingbirds, of course, very, very attractive. This salvia or sage is very aromatic, so the foliage is very fuzzy, very fragrant for us, so good as far as deer resistant is concerned. It is sitting here with unplugged white, so you'll see unplugged white in the area too. It's not quite full bloom yet, but again, these types of salvia, these are called Salvia farinaceae. They're really good as far as deer resistance is concerned. So unplugged white, unplugged red, fabulous. And then look right beyond it. So I'll have Taylor walk a little bit, but the sun-credible sunflowers are starting to come out and talk about an awesome pollinator plant. Again, anytime you can grow a sunflower, whether it's an annual sunflower or a perennial sunflower outside, this is always going to do really well for the pollinators, especially when you see that open center. There's lots of pollen and nectar to be had in that open center. Beautiful ring. This variety is called Saturn. So it has that ring right in the middle, beautiful yellow petals, awesome plant. These are great for sun. As far as pollinators are concerned, folks, you can't beat your trumpet-shaped flowers and Diplodenia and the hanging baskets. There's some beautiful Diplodenias. I know I mentioned them last month, but again, looking absolutely gorgeous, full. And those trumpet shapes, always a good shape of flower to attract your pollinators. The petunias as well. Nice big trumpet shapes will do very, very well for the pollinators. This is a really good one too. So this plant is called Augustaki. Some people call it hummingbird mint. There are annual types of hummingbird mint, which you see here. There are perennial types of hummingbird mint, just like with the salvias or sages. There's annual types and perennial types, okay? We're in the annual house, so this is gonna be our annual type. The annual types typically have more tropical colors to them. This beautiful peachy orange, and then I also have yellow back here. This variety in particular is Augustaki mexicana, so do look for that on the tags. This is called the Summer Long series, and the reason being is once they start blooming, they keep on blooming. Again, as far as aromatic foliage, they have this lovely, fresh, minty smell to them. And you walk through and just kind of run your hands through the Augustaki and you can smell the mintiness. It's a really, really great plant for pollinators, but it's going to keep the deer away as well. You're going to say, Noelle, where are the pollinator plants for the shade? And I've got them right here. This is an upright fuchsia. It's called Garten Meister. And it is just, this one is just starting to bud and just start to open here. There's some beautiful open flowers here, Taylor, but these long tubular flowers are going to be great for those hummingbirds out there. Any insect that has a long tongue as well. So those will work out very, very nicely. Garten Meister is an awesome shade garden plant. it can take some sun as well, as long as it's kept evenly moist. So that's a little hint for you all if you want to use it out in the sunny spots. But really for shade, beautiful darker green foliage, purple stems, orangey blossoms, really fun. And then right behind it, one of my favorite begonias. That's going to be your dragon wing begonia. Again, red blossoms are always going to draw the hummingbirds in for sure. They love that color. We are by the sun patience, and look at them. Now that we've gotten a little bit more heat in June, sun patients are really starting to take off. The impatient family, again, they need some heat to really get going. And sun patients are awesome because they are very versatile. We can grow them in the shade. We can grow them in the sun. They do a lot of good for us and for the pollinators. And if you've never looked really closely at an impatient flower, and it's easier with the New Guinea impatient flower, but I'm gonna flip this over, and you see this really long tail that's kind of behind the flower. That's where the nectar is hidden. So especially for your long-nosed hummingbirds or your long-tongued moths or what have you, they can get down to that nectar. And so that is really, really awesome, the nectary. But this is a really beautiful kind. And of course, I forgot already, compact peach candy. So look at the striping on that flower. There's some nice color in the buds and then also in the veins of the foliage. So there's some beautiful sun patients to still plant and look gorgeous out there for us. Another awesome pollinator plant, and we talk about this a lot, is Lantana. We've got Lantana in hanging baskets. We have Lantana all different colors, shapes and sizes here as well. The Lantana is always going to be a great pollinator plant. Reason being, again, is those small little tubular flowers are in a cluster. So there's a lot of nectar here for the pollinators to enjoy. And I'll tell you, aromatic foliage really kind of keeps the deer, the rabbits away as well. So this would be a good option, again, for sunny spots. Right behind the Lantana here at Oakwood, we have Kufia. And this is a newer Kufia for us. This is what we call a firefly Kufia. It's a much larger flower, as you can see, large petals, bright purple throat. This is the Totally Tempted series. And I'm going to tell you, the red, my gosh, the hummingbirds are going to absolutely love this. Really, really clean, a little bit more upright than some of our plants, but I would say a nice filler or even thriller in a container garden here. Totally Tempted watermelon. There's frosted violets over on the far side. And then, of course, we have Vermillionaire Kufia, and this is called Firecracker Kufia because of these smaller tubular orange flowers here. Again, both really good pollinator plants and will do a really nice job of attracting those winged friends over into the garden. Now that the heat of the season is coming on in the greenhouse, look for your vinca or flowering periwinkle, flowering vinca. Its botanical name is Catharanthus, which is a mouthful. So needless to say, look at this. This is Cora, the variety, excuse me. So it's Cora Cascade. So these vincas are going to flower and then start to trail a bit. They're not long trailers by any means, but you usually get about 8 to 10 inches of trailing out of them. And then it is combined with dichondra. Again, one of my favorite spillers out there in the garden. You can put this in sun and shade and it will produce, and you can tell the vines are starting to really trail down. They're already probably 2 foot long, maybe even 3 foot long in the hanging baskets. But this is going to be a great combo for sunny spots. It's also deer resistant out there. So we really love growing it. And again, it's one of those plants that doesn't take off until we start to get some warmer temperatures in the heat of summer. We're out in the nursery, and I did want to show you just a couple pollinator plants. Love the Weigilla, especially the variegated varieties of Weigilla, because when they are not blooming, they do have some really beautiful landscape interest to them. Weigilla do best in part shade to full sun, so you can put them in a couple different areas. This one is actually an old-fashioned variety. This one's called French Lace. Beautiful sort of chartreuse green-yellow on the edges of that foliage. And then look at those dark, kind of magenta pink trumpet flowers. So again, trumpet flower, always really good for pollinators. And then this one's a little bit newer variety. This is called My Monet Purple Effect. And you see a beautiful white edging on the foliage, but it starts to deepen and get more violet purple colors to it. It also has a deeper pink flower as well. So again, great for the pollinators, wonderful for the foliage effect out in the landscape. We're up in the rose section, and I did want to show you for pollinators. Again, if you're trying to attract the pollinators, look for the roses that have more of an open cup-like shape that you can see the center. So no hybrid teas here when you're selecting for pollinators, but some knockouts, some of the knockouts as we were looking around are really, really nice. The pink single knockout has a beautiful open flower where you can see the center of that plant. Peachy knockout is absolutely gorgeous. I'm gonna pick this up for Taylor, but look at that open flower. Do you see what I mean? So as long as you can see the centers, your roses are gonna be a good pollinator attractant for the bees and the butterflies. They really can go for those single, or I should say, there's more petals on that plant. So peachy starts a little bit like semi-doubled and then opens up. So as long as you can see the center of that flower, you're going to have a great rose. The white knockout as well is really, really gorgeous and just opening up in the centers too. So really, if you're wanting to try some roses out there and ultimately your goal is for pollinator attractant, look for some of the open single types and they'll do really, really nicely. Okay, folks, that's all for us for June. What's in store? Enjoy National Perennial Month and National Pollinator Month.